Bizarre Brain Comics. Well, hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I'm Gerry, your host. This is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and examine the stories and the art. This time, I want to take a look at this book here. This is The Secret Society of Supervillains, number 1, from 1976. This has a nice cover by Ernie Chan. This is when he was still going by Chua before he got his citizenship and got his name legally changed to Chan. But he didn't do the interior art as was common. He was doing a lot of stuff for DC at this time, but he is probably best known for his time on Marvel's Conan the Barbarian, both the comic strip, the comic books, etc., as inker and as penciler and inker. And his style was so strong, it had a tendency to overpower this style of the pencilers that he inked, which was kind of unfortunate. This is written by Gerry Conway, with pencils by Pablo and inks by Bob Smith. And for those who don't know, the title is from DC Comics, starting in 1976, running for 15 issues through 1978. And they were primarily foes of the Justice League of America. But in this series, Captain Comet became the primary hero, fighting against their evil plans, etc. And I guess that was the first appearance of Captain Comet at DC in 20 years at this time. So, which explains why. I was some of the earlier appearances, like in the late 70s and early 80s, that I saw of him. I kept wondering who he was. Who was he? He wasn't somebody I was familiar with. So he goes back to the way back when. And the series was created by Gerry Conway and Pablo Marcos. See, after this series was canceled during the DC implosion, the group returned in various forms, with just popped up a few times over the years. Now, I guess when Gerry Conway, who was the editor, he had he originally conceived this, and actually it was that the big power behind the creation of the Secret Society of Supervillains in the story turns out to be Darkseid. And when the society finds that out, they turn on him, because he has Darkseid, of course, is known for attacking Earth and trying to enslave the human race, etc., which does these people absolutely no good whatsoever. And they pop up from time to time as villains in Justice League stories, with various rosters. So here it is. So this cover says, "That's the end of those junk heap heroes, Grodd." That's Captain Cold. It says, "Today we crush the robot Justice League, Captain Cold. Tomorrow we destroy the real." That seems incomplete. Seems like I should say destroy the real one. Anyway, unfortunately, that's kind of a spoiler for the incoming story. And this is the only issue that I've got, and it's in fairly rough shape, but it's quite readable, which is all that's really needed. So let's take a little trip through here. It says here at the beginning, attention, you are cordially invited to attend the first bi-monthly meeting of the Secret Society of Supervillains. Attend or die. Yeah. And here we have Captain Cold and Mirror Master, after having just have a big holdup of some kind. I forgot, robbed a bank, a jewelry store, that's what it was. And cops are after him. They do various things, outdoing the cops, and they get away on an ice slide, kind of like Iceman from X-Men. And here they are a little bit later in their little hovel in the hotel where they're staying, and a rock, and they're in their civvies, and a rock comes crashing through the window, and there is a note attached to it, and it says, "What? This is an invitation." He said, "And you're not going to believe this." Then our scene changes to, because this is basically the whole issue is basically recruitment. Gorilla Grodd in Gorilla City, smashing out and escaping from his prison. Won't go into those details. And they got the Gorilla cops, and he takes out a few of those. And he remembers, Gorilla Grodd even for the super intelligent gorillas, he is extra super intelligent with mental powers. And he got an invitation. That's why he finally broke out, and poof, he transports himself. Then here is from a prison, and Copperhead, the king of crime, is escaping his prison with assistance of one of his goons, and his goon who brought him this improved Copperhead costume, which is how he's able to do the snaky stuff. And his assistant has an envelope for him, and it's got the invitation. It says, "Come to something called the Sinister Citadel." Then somewhere off in space is Sinestro, villain of the Green Lantern, and here he is coming to Earth, and he also received an invitation to this what they're calling this Citadel, Sinister Citadel in San Francisco, and he using his power ring, it assumes a more human-looking appearance, goes into, and here it is, has a breakdown here of the interior of the building, of the floors that the Secret Society will encompass. He gets in the elevator down in the lobby. He is met by a lovely French lady, and she gives him instructions on how to get up and where to go, and then she transforms. Ooh, who is she? Oh, she is Star Sapphire, but she's a different Star Sapphire. And remember, this is all drawn by Pablo Marcos, and he has I think he's kind of restraining himself a little bit, because he always really had a tendency to really exaggerate the human form, and he's not so much here. He's kind of pulled himself back. Of course, that could also be due to the Bob Smith inks, but this is not the classic Star Sapphire. This is an entirely new Star Sapphire. And she also a villain of Green Lantern, but this one is not. See, the original one was, what's her name? Anyway, I can't remember, but it is a power and legacy that has gone from person to person. And Sinestro gets to the place. He says the door is closing. Star Sapphire flies in, and you see the place is crowded with all these other villains. Got the Captain Boomerang, even the Wizard, who is from Earth 2. And Mirror Master, Captain Cold, Catwoman, who we actually never see here. I don't even see her in the crowd. Catwoman, the Shadow Thief, Copperhead, And now they wonder what's going on, and then the wall busts open, comes and out through that wall is smashing members of the Justice League of America, and they whip into action against the secret society, and but they seem to be getting relatively easily getting the upper hand against them. But then they just Gorilla Grodd is the first one to really realize that these aren't them. They're not them. They're robots. Yes, they're all a bunch of robots, and they make relatively quick work of the robots. Then their host and the person who apparently invited them comes in, and it is Manhunter. But he's not. Of course, this has nothing to do with the Manhunters from the Green Lantern history. This is a different Manhunter. He was a backup in I think it was in Detective, but not that one. This is a clone. From what I understand, this is a clone of that Manhunter, but he's got the same skills, and he is an evil version. So they talk and squawk, and they even have a butler about stuff and about the joining, and said, but they're going to have to, before they can think about taking on all their enemies and eventually hoping to take over the country, they have to do basically tryouts. So our first tryout is who is it? Oh yeah, Copperhead and Gorilla Grodd, and they are to get to this super secret laboratory that's under this or inside this lighthouse. That's what I'm trying to think of, lighthouse. And so they work together. Grodd distracts the guards and takes them out, while Copperhead slips in, and he sees this fellow and get this sphere of some kind. This is what he is supposed to steal, and he takes out the guy, grabs the thing, and slithers down the side of the building. But at the last second, one of the guards gets hold of his guns and shoots Copperhead, incapacitating him. Grodd gets the sphere and completely abandons Copperhead and takes off. And Grodd says that Copperhead betrayed them, apparently. Don't worry about Copperhead betraying us, Grodd. We have ways to ensure silence. Oh, that's not what he said. They don't want him, now that he's captured, don't want him to betray him, but we have ways of ensuring their silence. It says Manhunter's, it says, and now, Manhunter, what next? The unveiling of our generous benefactor? Manhunter's reply is icy silence. Yet in that silence, there's a promise that answers will come tomorrow. And then a teaser for next issue, the return of Captain Comet. And at that time, I didn't even know there was a Captain Comet. But he's a cosmic, extremely powerful, and supposedly superhero, and long-lived and stuff. So he's been off in space or something like that for quite a while. And that concludes our little jaunt into the secret society of supervillains. I'd like to have seen stuff with Captain Comet myself, but it's just a little taste, just an introduction, and I think this is the only issue of the supervillains that I ever got. I may have gotten one or two way back when, but no longer have them. But that's what we've got this time with the Secret Society of Supervillains. So I want to thank you for joining me. Please like, share, subscribe, leave your comments down below. Tell me, have you read the Secret Society of Supervillains? Do you know what's supposed to happen? What more is going to happen than I do? Let me know. Huh? Or do you like the arts? Do you like the writing? Gerry did a decent job writing it, and I think it's an interesting concept. So I want to thank you, and remember, comics are art.